Just a quick reminder out of respect for the head coach, please turn on your camera on when asking a question. We'll begin by taking questions for head coach Bradley Carnell, and then around 1:30 we'll transition to Jaffet and continue with questions at that time. Jonathan?
Thanks. Thanks, Nico. Hi, Bradley.
Hey, Jonathan.
I probably have a few, but I'll try to pick a couple. Since Jaffet is coming on shortly, how have he and Ezekiel Aladil looked so far as they've gone into the deep end here, including in the first scrimmage?
Yeah, I think there's two ways to look about it, right? So you look on and off the field, and I think both of them have integrated, seamlessly in all sides of the game with us. I think we got to see Ezekiel's qualities in the game the other day and potential threats. I think you could see that he's a real weapon in behind and just his speed and power and hold up play. So yeah, but it's still the first 3, 4 days of an intense camp that we've been going at it. And Jeff as well has come in here and had such a calmness about him and a real professional working manner about him and hit the ground running. He kind of commands a calm sense, but also a presence. And it's kind of an oxymoron, but he's really good to be around the group, and yeah, I think he's already establishing some form of foundational leadership capabilities here as well.
Um, and then Neil Pierre getting loaned to Lingby. Why, why we know the difference between MLS and MLS Next Pro level wise, physicality wise, etc. Why
Yeah.
do you think that Lingby is the right place short term, and why, calendar season issues aside, why short term instead of a calendar year?
Yeah, I mean, we always want to be in control of, who we're sending out and for what time frame, and that'll help us, get through to the midpoint in our season and through the World Cup break. But just to progress along Neil's development, we felt that, he had reached a point, at the Next Pro now where, playing against, different looking opponents, maybe foreign opponents, and this is a real push with our cooperation with Lingby in terms of the development factor. So just closing the gap between, the Next Pro, the MLS, and then there's a mid station there with Lingby. So also going out of your comfort zone is a big one. And I think for me, going out of your comfort zone, new surroundings, new teammates, very, similar playing style, and obviously we're incorporated there as well. So, in terms of synergy between the two clubs, very important for Neil to go and get those experiences. And I think you'll grow as a person, as a player as well. And who knows, the transition could be really quick, and we might need another cycle, but he's, for him to accept that and really, think about his career as a step forwards, playing against real opponents, pressurized situations. This will be good for us to gauge, his further development as well.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, any Karith?
Hi, Bradley. Thanks for jumping on the
Great.
call today. I'm interested in where you see early on Milan Ilaski. I know he has the attention, looking at him more so that like playmaking, attacking midfielder, but you have a lot of those in camp right now. So where exactly does he fit kind of going into this year?
Yeah, we have a bunch of things drawn up on, in my room. There's different scenarios and, and all the tactical sheets of paper. But right now we can only work with what we have.
Right.
So we have an overload of strikers with us right now. So Milan, just to build his foundation, I would say, and we know what he brought us last year through the summer and down the stretch. So he's a real weapon in both phases, right? So whether it's in the possession phase or in the transition phase, he helps us a lot. What he has come in here, he's coming here real fit at the moment, and he's pressing. Obviously coming in mid-season, getting up to the tactical nuances of how we release on our triggers and stuff like that. So he has a bunch of things to learn, even in the 10 spot. But using him in the striker spot is an option as well. But right now, he's being used in that 10 spot, Karith.
Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Jose?
Hi, Bradley. wanted to ask you about Finn Sundstrom. How is he sort of integrating into the group? Obviously, he's coming in pretty hot off of the national camp, and how is he picking up some of these cues? Because as Jonathan mentioned, there's obviously sort of a learning curve here coming from USL to MLS. Intrigued to hear how he's sort of hanging in there and learning from the rest of the guys.
Yeah, it's a good question, but you know, there's different forms of development cycles and tiers, I would say, or pyramids. And I think Finn's had a bunch of experiences now, over a year or two, playing in tough environments as well. So with crowd pressure, all the things I mentioned with Neil. So this is part of another step up, and Finn now gets to go out of his comfort zone, but a little bit more, I would say, closer to what we are looking for right now. So yeah, he's had some great experiences. He's had a standout season. He can play multiple positions. He can play a right back. He can play a holding midfielder. He can play a center back. He comes through his development as a striker or an attacker. Again, and all rounders are very rare to find and very useful in our system. So he covers a lot of spots at the moment. But I thought he did really well in the scrimmage. Obviously, keeping a real high line, keeping it nice and compact and tight, and being brave and fierce. And he's really technical. He has a calm presence about him when he's on the ball. He's a really good passer, and he's very physical as well. So yeah, it's a lot of new experiences for a young guy. So I'm sure he's enjoying it with his teammates, getting to know the characters around the locker room, and growing every day.
And then final for me in terms of Neil's loan, was USL ever an option for him in terms of where he would go? Was it always sort of, okay, we have this partnership with Lingby, let's make good on it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a make good on it. I think it's definitely to explore because it's playing against international competition. It's European soccer. It's uh, different types of challenges. I would say you're faced with every day, right? It's new culture, new language, new teammates. Like I spoke about, coming out of your comfort zone, and this is something that I've expressed or that we've expressed together. End of year meetings with Neil. We both, or he actually thought that going out on loan would be a better option for him, to go and explore and to grow one more time and to challenge himself on international waters. I think it's what everybody wants, and if we can get this partnership up and running, as another sort of layer to our development cycle, this is going to be so beneficial to us.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jose.
John?
Thanks, Nico. Stas Korzeniowski getting the promotion to the first team. What's that say to you about what he's been able to accomplish over the last year, and also that players can come from a lot of different directions. His is not what we would call, I think, the main direction in American soccer these days.
Yeah, he had a tough year just in terms of like his personal load. He had soccer to think about, he had school to think about, and he excelled at both. So that just shows the type of individual he is, how driven he is to succeed, and that he gets rewarded, and he scores a goal here on camp, and Stas has certain qualities and a skill set that we really like, and for sure it's far from polished right now, but that's the journey that he's started to take now with us, and having him in these environments, and just around the team and playing in our way. And Ryan Richter's done a great job prepping him and getting him ready for this environment. So yeah, it's a joy to watch. You just see if you play like that, and he was relentless the other day. He just didn't stop running. We told him, for 45 minutes, just give it everything. Give just from the load, from the performance, and then he gets rewarded with a goal in a transition moment. So really happy for him. He's good around the group, and we'll monitor and see at the end of the preseason, where the categories, what's happening, who came in, who's out, and we'll continue to monitor that.
And speaking of strikers, I saw that Malik is going to go to the U.S. under-17s for their CONCACAF qualifying tournament. We certainly know what the under-17 stage has done for a lot of Union players over the years. What can this one do for him?
Yeah, I think it's great. getting to test your skill set against other similar age group international opponents. Yeah, and I think again the environment we're providing for him here helps him develop in that manner to exceed and excel at the 17s. We've seen a couple of good glimpses in training here in preseason that he comes to life and you think, wow, this is amazing, and then you just get to remember, oh, right, he's just joined us for 3-4 days already in camp. So yeah, ways to go, ways to learn. We don't want to put any sort of crazy amounts of pressure on him. We want him to have fun. We want him to develop. We want him to learn and grow. Just, I know it's different, age and what have you. Kevin, last year I said to Kevin, just have fun, just enjoy. You're still developing into a player. You're still developing in your cycle and your skill set here. Similar with Malik as well. Highly talented, and we have to give a little bit of freedom, flexibility within the growth spurts and the growth phases. But he's definitely interesting.
Thanks.
And final questions for Bradley, we'll go to Joe.
Hey Bradley, how are you?
Good on you, Joe. Thank you.
Good. With Neil going out and the fixtures you have early on in the season, where does the defensive depth chart stand with guys underneath Jeff and Owetu at center back and left back? How have you evaluated your options within the team, also with outside of the team, knowing that they're going to come fast and heavy when it comes to late February?
Yeah, we know we have a couple all-rounders on the back line as well with Nate. Nate can play, right back, left back, center back. Finn's come in now as well and has had a really good showing. And like we've spoken about all through the off season, we are looking to kind of, have double depth on each position. So, you can go across the board here. Yeah, there's still a couple of spots to fill. And we're monitoring this every single day between Matt and John Shear. We're evaluating, we're having our Zoom calls and doing our due diligence. But, it's not a panic. It's not a rush. We want to make sure it's a right fit for us.
All right, thanks, Bradley. We'll be
Right,
joined
thanks,
by
guys.
Jaffet
Take
shortly.
care.
We're all good, Nico.
All right, we're joined by defender Jaffet Sery Larsen, and we can go right into questions. Jonathan?
Thanks, Nico. Jonathan Tannenwald of the Philadelphia Inquirer here. Welcome to we would say welcome to town, but you're not in Philadelphia, so welcome to the team and to all of us who will have questions for you. How have you found settling in here so far, and what appealed to you about this team and this project and coming here?
First of all, thank you very much, Jonathan. Nice to meet you. No, it has been great. Obviously, it was a bit challenging in the beginning, not being able to train with the team, but now I'm slowly integrating, training more and more, and it has been great this week in Spain so far. So I'm really, really pleased to be here.
Um, did you talk to like other Danish guys who've played here, other guys who played in MLS about potentially making the move this way?
Yeah, I have a good friend who plays in San Diego, Dreyer, who has spoken really warmly about the league. I have a former teammate as well in Cincinnati, Evander, who really enjoys his time here. Then obviously I talked to Michael Ure a bit because he knows the union very well, which was really helpful for me. But all of them really talked warmly about the league and had nothing bad to say. So I'm really positive.
Joe?
Curious to know what your conversations were with Mikel, knowing that he knows this club specifically. What did he have to say about uh joining the club and what it's all about here?
No, he was really happy about his time here. He had some great moments here, I think. But mostly we talked about how's life outside of the club. I had some good talks with the sporting directors and the coaches about what it was like being in the club. But the hard part is finding out what life is around the training ground and stuff like that. So Mikael was really helpful there. But yeah, obviously we talked about it in the club as well. But he had only good things to say about the club. He really enjoyed the playing style and the philosophy of the union. So yeah.
What about for you specifically, what about the club um drew your interest and what they pitched to you was so intriguing on your end from a playing perspective?
Definitely the playing style and the thing they view football. I think the coaching staff have a really clear idea of how they want to do things, which I believe suits me quite well. So yeah, there was a big had a big impact for me in my decision, which made it easier. But they really talked about the way of thinking in football and their principles.
Jose?
Jose, would love to hear now that obviously through the recruitment process you heard about the playing style, sort of from on your end, and what has it been like to learn a lot of these new cues and a lot of these new triggers that you have to learn, you have to follow, considering how how modeled this system is to obviously get the ball forward as fast as possible, maybe compared to Braun when you were there. How are you finding it? Has it been difficult? If you can just expand a little bit on it.
Course. It has been fun and challenging at the same time. I'm learning new things every day, but I'm trying to embrace it all. And the coaching staff and the teammates are really helpful in that process. But obviously, it's a lot of new things. It's a new way of speaking football over here. But I'm trying to embrace it all, and day by day I'm learning. I think I'm getting to know the system a bit more.
Now 45 or so minutes under your belt with the Philadelphia Union. What are your first impressions of, putting it into play into an actual match, albeit a preseason match? What are your sort of impressions of the style now that you've practiced it and played it?
I thought it was quite obvious the way the coaches want us to play. I think we could see the principles coming to life in the game. A lot of the guys are thinking forward the whole time, trying to really express ourselves. I thought that was quite obvious, even though it was the first preseason game against a decent opponent. But I thought we tried to make the best out of it.
Thank you so much.
All right, final questions. We'll go to Matt to George.
Hey, Jaffet, Matt to George from the Delco Times. Welcome. One of the things Bradley said when you were signed is they were looking at your experience playing in European competition, and I believe your experience having been a captain before. How do you think that informs your approach to coming into a new team, and how does that shape what you bring on the field?
It had a big impact in my decision before joining here. I think the club had a really good plan for me, and they know me quite well as a player, which was really appealing. So obviously being a captain, I know some more experienced players have left the club now during this winter. So there's an open spot for taking responsibility and leadership, and I think we have that within the group. But obviously, I want to contribute to that as well and help as best as possible.
All right.